Hi, everyone, and welcome to the PegEx Podcast. We cover a wide range of topics in these podcasts, including environmental issues, technology tips to help you grow your business, and tips to keep you out of trouble with the EPA, the DOT, OSHA, and others. My name is Michael Bryant. Today we're talking about CERCLA. CERCLA stands for the Comprehensive Environmental Response, Compensation, and Liability Act, known also as Superfund. It was passed in 1980 in response to some alarming, decidedly unacceptable hazardous waste practices and management going on in the 1970s. Its purpose is to identify sites where hazardous materials threaten the environment and/or public health as a result of leakage, spillage, or general mismanagement, particularly the lack of a good hazardous waste removal plan, and then to identify the responsible party. The next, and the most important, job at hand is cleanup, and to try to ensure the party responsible for the mess is also held responsible for the cleanup. These sites are referred to as Superfund sites. CERCLA authorizes Superfund cleanup responses in two ways: short-term removal and long-term environmental remediation. These actions can be conducted only at sites listed on the EPA's National Priorities List, NPL. The removal actions are meant to be undertaken promptly to abate, prevent, minimize, stabilize, mitigate, or ideally eliminate the threat. These actions deal not only with listed hazardous materials and substances, but also with any contaminants or pollutants, with the exception of oil and gas. The Environmental Protection Agency, the EPA, generally attempts to identify the responsible party for any contamination before taking response actions itself. Responsible parties can be any of the following: any generators of hazardous materials on location, transporters of hazardous materials to the site, and past or present site owners. The responsible party has the option to willingly undertake the response task, but if they're unwilling, the EPA will order them to do it anyway. These actions are paid for by a trust fund, made possible by a tax imposed on chemical and petroleum industries when CERCLA was enacted. CERCLA powers and responsibilities overlap with the Resource Conservation and Recovery Act, RCRA, the Clean Water Act, and the Safe Drinking Water Act. CERCLA and RCRA share jurisdiction with respect to hazardous materials and underground storage tanks containing petroleum products. There is protocol and guidelines for these tanks contained in Subtitle I of the 1984 Hazardous and Solid Waste Amendments to RCRA. However, the types of waste that are controlled are outlined by CERCLA. CERCLA was amended by the Superfund Amendments and Re-authorization Act, SARA, on October 17, 1986. CERCLA is an important environmental program. It not only ensures that these invaluable removal actions are taken, but also enforces against potentially responsible parties and ultimately promotes strong accountability, community involvement, and long-term protectiveness. One thing CERCLA cannot ensure, however, is perfection. Read our blog, Trichloroethylene Concerns for Google Employees, to see why. Does your organization need environmental remediation services? If yes, we can help. If your organization needs help with site cleanup, hazardous waste transportation and disposal, environmental remediation, and environmental consulting services, call our experts at PegEx or visit us online at PegEx.com. We offer our services nationwide, and we have the expertise and resources you need for a successful site cleanup. We hope you found this information useful. If you have an idea for another podcast you'd like for us to cover, drop us a line at podcast@PegEx.com. Thanks for listening.